Whereas the more selflessly I function in life, my account is in a positive state, and the greater freedom that I have. Now, none of us knows the state of our account. We are not sent monthly a notice of our bank balance, of our cosmic bank balance. So we may think that we're being done injustice to because we are loving and we are kind and we are forgiving, and yet we keep receiving these kinds of negative behaviors from the other person. So the only conclusion I could draw is that my account simply hasn't gotten into the black yet. I'm still owing. That is, these events which seem to be coming to me, which seem unjust, are not unjust. They are there is a perfection in the way these balances are kept. Mistakes are not made. It's not a mistake that this person is behaving to me in this way. It's not a mistake that my loved one had to leave. There are no mistakes in these accounts. Now, you must remember, however, that we mentioned last week that because I am receiving some kind of negative behavior or negative events from life, it doesn't always mean that this is the result of something of the past. It could be that I have something to learn in the present, or that I am functioning with certain beliefs which are causing me to experience these negative activities. So that it's not enough just to accept it and say, this is my karma, I'm just going to accept it. I need also to see if what is happening is a reflection of what I believe today, or how I feel about myself, or how I feel about people, or whether my beliefs or emotions or attitudes are being reflected back to me. And definitely always the question is, what is the lesson which I need to learn here? Let's take an example. Let's take, for example, illness. Let's say that illness is an event which comes into my life. Now, we already mentioned that no event comes without our creating it. That illness could be created by past actions and past way of living and thinking. It could be created by my present way of living and thinking. Or it could be created because I have chosen to go through illness in order to learn something. In all three cases, what we are interested in is, what can I learn? I mean, this is the only real question. What can I learn from what is happening? Let's take the example of illness. First of all, one could learn to change one's dietary habits, because food plays a very important role in health and in illness. And that change of eating habits would not only create health, but would also change the vibratory level of the being. That is, eating more healthily means that I become more sensitive. I become more attuned to spiritual energies. I become more attuned to higher parts of my being. So actually this illness, which causes me to change the way I eat, becomes actually a process of spiritual evolution. Because the purer I eat, the more pure my vibrations are, the purer my thoughts are. Secondly, it might be a lesson to stop and relax more. Some people create illness in their lives because they don't know how to stop. And their body is not getting the rest it needs to get in order to rejuvenate itself. Because probably they are attached to some kinds of activities in life. A third lesson which we can learn through illness is to face the negative emotional patterns which might be creating this illness. What are the emotions involved here? 80% of our illnesses are psychosomatic. So in wanting to heal myself, I need to face the negative emotions which are contributing to this physical imbalance and work through them. And that also frees up my emotional life and frees up my spiritual process. So we can see that this illness comes, that having a sensitive body is a great gift. Many people feel it's a curse Because there are other people that can eat anything they want, have the most negative emotions, and never get ill. And we might be envious of these people, but actually they are the ones that are losing because they can go very far off the track. Whereas a person who has a sensitive body has a teacher. A sensitive body is a teacher who doesn't allow you to go far away, doesn't allow you to go into negative thinking without realizing you're thinking negatively. It doesn't allow you to eat unsuitable foods without realizing it. And so it's actually a blessing. A sensitive body which forces this person to see his emotions continuously and check his food continuously is in a better position for spiritual growth than a person who has a very gross body which is insensitive to the emotions and to the food. Another lesson that we can learn through illness is humility and compassion. Sometimes we can become very proud and feel that we are very important. And when this very small bacteria, which we can't even see, knocks us on our back, we realize how strong we are and how important we are. And also, going through illness helps us to be compassionate to others who are ill. So someone who is a very hard type of person, very much in the role of the strong and unneeding person, and maybe who rejects weakness, can learn a lot by going through an illness so that he has understanding for weakness. And this is another lesson, that is the ability to accept love and caring. There are some people that cannot accept love and caring from other people. So an illness may be exactly what they need in order to be able to open up, to experience their weakness, and accept caring and love from other people. Another possible lesson through illness would be that we would stop our activity for a certain period of time and think more deeply about the meaning of our lives. Often when we are engaged in so many activities, we're running without knowing why we are running. Everything seems like, well, we have to do so many things without actually investigating whether we really have to do these things or not. Many social obligations, many habits which we have cultivated over the years, which may not be useful or satisfying anymore. And yet we can't disengage ourselves from that. So illness, of course, if someone doesn't have to get ill to do this, one could take a retreat. And I suggest regular retreats, once, 3 or 4 a year for a few days, in which a person would be by himself and think about life, and think about what they're doing with their lives, and whether they want to continue doing with their lives that which what they're doing. Another possible lesson through illness would be to develop positive mental powers in order to be able to contact our inner healing powers, and to learn mind control, to learn self-healing, or learn positive projection. And then once you have learned this out of the need to heal yourself, you have this increased mental power, which you can use in various aspects of the life. So it is a need which causes us to develop spiritual power or healing power in order to heal ourselves. Another possible benefit from illness could be that we would realize that we have to take a more active role in being responsible for our health. Until that time, many people feel that the doctor is responsible for my health, or the psychologist is responsible for my emotions, or the priest is responsible for my spiritual growth, or whatever it may be. And once we get into this, we realize that I am the creator of my health. Only I can create health. Only I can create happiness in myself, and only I can create my spiritual evolution. No one can create my spiritual evolution, or create my happiness, or create my health. I have to become responsible. I can ask advice from these people. I can accept help, but only I can create my health, my happiness, and my spiritual growth. It may also, if the illness is a serious illness, be an opportunity to learn to have faith and to surrender our will to God. That is, to make the effort we need to make to be healthy, but to accept any result. So that is, to be able to surrender. I'm doing what I can to be well, but I accept any possible result concerning this. I accept your wisdom in relationship to the situation, which then becomes also a stimulus for greater contact with God, with the divine. We tend to pray more and to communicate with God more when we have problems than when we don't have problems. And so that may be a period of time we need to go through in our lives in order to develop that relationship, so that when we get well, we continue that relationship, hopefully. It also can be an opportunity to examine our values in life, because often we have very superficial values, and we become confronted with the values of health and of life or death, then all of these other things, appearance and money and material objects and what they did and what they didn't do, what they said, what they didn't say, become rather insignificant. And so we begin to realize what is really important in life. And if we approach death, or even if we think we're approaching death, we're also faced then with the possibility of detaching ourselves from the physical body. That is, realizing I am not this body. I exist separately from this physical body. So as you can see, there are many possible lessons, benefits, which a soul can gain through illness. Now the benefits can be gained from any situation. It doesn't mean that we have to seek illness or seek negative experiences in order to grow spiritually. It just means that when something is happening, it's better to look at it as a learning process and see what we can learn about it through it. Let's take, for example, another case, a divorce or a separation from a loved one, either through divorce or through death. First of all, if it's in a divorce situation, it becomes a stimulus to examine our belief system and examine the behaviors and the attitudes which we have, which may have contributed to this situation. So it's a time of self-evaluation, self-examination. How did I contribute to the situation? Another lesson is to be able to love the other regardless of the other's behavior. That is, to develop an unconditional love towards the other person regardless of whatever happens. Another lesson for some people may be to discover that they can live by themselves, that they have the strength, the security, the self-worth, the inner potential to be okay, whatever may happen. It definitely, if the divorce takes place, is an opportunity for developing inner strength and self-worth. And it's an opportunity for many people to direct their energies in a spiritual direction. So many people come to Harmonic Izuri either because of a divorce or through the death of a loved one. And that starts out a whole spiritual process for these people in which they realize that there's something beyond our daily life. You know, there's something beyond life itself which is motivating us.